Cash rules. The rules to make money work for you. Learn from me, Nick Gilmore, and a bunch of other people who have done the same thing. Make more money, make more time, start a business, let's go. I want to jump right into this because it's something that I've been faced with a lot, many times in my life, and I've always managed to overcome any type of circumstance or hurdle that I've come up against. And resiliency is huge when you want to start a business or be an entrepreneur, and even really just in life, because life is tough and it sucks a lot of the time. And I think it's so important to train ourselves to be able to face these adversities and overcome and learn. Educate ourselves on, why it happened, or maybe there is no reason why it happened, but how we handled it, how it made us feel, and how ultimately we became stronger people because of it. And it allows us to become better business people and entrepreneurs, in my opinion, but it has really worked for me. And, I always say an entrepreneur, a true purebred entrepreneur will always land on their feet, no matter what. And my favorite animal is a cat. I love cats. I have a beautiful cat named Lily, and her and I share the same, that same skill where we always land on our feet. So I want to share a quick story with you guys and just to kind of speak to, a resiliency in my life. And it's a story, probably, I would say it happened maybe 12 or 13 years ago. And I had, as a young man, I had gotten into a fair bit of trouble. So I had, I always wanted to do things my own way, and it didn't always work out for me. So it left me in a position where it was hard to find a job or somebody who wanted to hire me because I had a colorful past. And I guess it starts out, I was handing out resumes, and I was searching for jobs, and I would go to Keys and Job Connect, which were local employment agencies, and they would help with my resume and job skills and different things that would make me more attractive to a business owner. So, this went on for a considerable period of time, and I could feel myself getting discouraged, but I didn't want to let anyone down around me because I had felt like I had done that for a long time. And I could hear people around me, and they not saying it to me, but I could hear people saying that I was a failure, and that, my parents had this son who was useless, and he was just a fuck up. And these things, they stick with you until you train yourself to, become a shield and just deflect all this bullshit and noise, is what I like to call it. And it took me many, many years to do that, but, I eventually did. But at this period of time, these things affected me, and they affected me in such a way that it would just beat me down into the ground. And I was searching for these jobs, looking around, trying anywhere. Like I think I applied to an Arby's. I applied to a bunch of grocery stores. I applied to moving companies. I applied to I had a job interview with an investment firm. Like just absolutely anything. And I wasn't getting hired. So I ended up, I got this job at a grocery store, and it was, it was a blessing. So I didn't, see it coming, but I went in there and I worked my ass off. I knew how to cut meat, obviously, because of my upbringing and my dad. So I got this job. It was in Kingston. And at the time, I lived in Belleville. So it was about an hour. It was about an hour and a bit drive. And this was fine. I thought, you know what, I'll figure it out. I didn't use it as an excuse or a crutch to not take the job or to fall into, some type of a poor me situation, I guess. But I took the job, and it was full-time, so I had to get up there like 5-6 days a week, 7 days a week sometimes. So I was commuting, and at the time I think I was making, I don't know, $13 an hour, maybe $12 an hour, and I had to commute up, so I would get a ride sometimes. I'd get a ride from my dad. Sometimes, I would take a cab. But when it all was said and done, at the end of the week after week, I didn't have a ton left in my pocket because I had to pay for a cab or I had to pay for something else that, just to live. And when you're working this hard and you don't have very much left over and you're not paying for a house or an investment or anything like that that's growing, it's just basically you're paying to go to work, it becomes depressing. But I didn't let it get me down because I was learning, and the life experience and the contacts, the people I met, it was like I was making $200 an hour. Because you can't buy that anywhere. So when I started equating my wage to life experience and connections and not just to my per hour salary, that's a fucking game changer. Because that's when you truly realize what you're doing in life and how to optimize every single experience that is in front of you. So if you're somebody who just looks at what you get paid per hour and you're like, I don't fucking make enough and I fucking do all this work and I'm so fucking important and if I quit this fucking job, they'd be so fucked. Like, no, they wouldn't. And lose that shitty attitude. Because my brother Lincoln told me this advice, and I've lived by it. Everybody is replaceable. Period. I don't give a fuck who you are or who you think you are. You can be replaced at a job or your career or whatever you call it. Somebody else can do the same thing. So put that in your mind and remember it. And don't ever forget it. Anybody, me, you, whoever. So if you're that person who says, well, I make this much money and, I shouldn't and it's not even worth my time. Remember that I was working a job making X amount of dollars and paying a cab to get me there and really making nothing. So imagine how that would make you feel. So anyways, back to the point. It created this resiliency in me and this way to look at situations where I could optimize. And once I knew how to do that, sky was the limit. And, I went into business and I worked all the time and things happened. Another situation where somebody came into the store when we first opened up, and he was an old guy and an old business guy. And he came in and he said, "Who owns this joint?" And we had been open for maybe 2 weeks or something. I said, "I do, sir. Would there be anything I can help you with?" And he said, "No, but I just wanted to come in here and say, I don't think you're going to last longer than 6 months." Meaning we would be closed in 6 months because we would have no business. So immediately I'm pissed off inside, but I'm also fucking scared as fuck because we just opened up and it's huge and crazy and there's tons on the line. And he said, "Well, thank you very much." And then that was the end of it. So fast forward 5 years down the line, I see the same guy again. And he said, "I didn't think you'd make it." And I said, "I'm glad you said to me what you did, because that drove me to succeed even more, in spite of you." And he smiled, and he was an old prick, just never said anything nice, but it was just one of those situations where, everything isn't all roses and enjoyment and "Oh, good job, this is so great." There is so many things that happen in a day that's fuck me, this is insane, and you want to quit and you want to stop and you want to just go to your bed and put the covers over your head and not talk to anybody. But you need to keep pushing forward no matter what. Especially when you're in business, when you're an entrepreneur, you have people who depend on you. You need to push ahead. And I've said this for the last year and a half, but look at, where we are in Ontario, in restaurants and spas and in any types of salons, places that have really taken the hardest hit for this COVID shutdown. These people are reinventing how they do business. And there's patios on sidewalks that are they put together overnight, and their deliveries and takeout options and reinventing the menu. And these individuals are the essence of being an entrepreneur. So if you want to be an entrepreneur or be a business owner or whatever, if that's what you want, don't look at the good times. Look at the worst times and the bad times. And if you believe that you can weather the shittiest of times, that your stomach can handle the shittiest of fucking situations, then go for it. Don't look at the guy who, worked 40 years and then bought a really nice car and a house and whatever, goes on trips. Don't look at that guy, because that's the end game. Look at the start and look at the shitty times. And when you can deal with that, and when you think that you're man or woman enough or whatever enough to fucking do that, then you can jump in with the sharks. All right, guys, I hope that gives you a little bit of motivation. I hope that can add a little bit of insight into being an entrepreneur. And it's great. I wouldn't change it for a thing, but I never stop being scared of how I'm going to grow. And that really drives me. And, if you have any questions or your story, an interesting story that would motivate somebody, that's what this is all about. And I want to motivate somebody, anybody who might be in that position and they think, what business do I have being a business owner? Or what business do I have following my dreams? And I can tell you right now, you have all the business in the world following your dreams. Fuck what anybody says. Fuck it. Do you. Because if I listened to all the advice I got before I was in business, trust me, I wouldn't be where I am. Not even fucking close. And I'm not saying all the advice was bad, but I was able to kind of filter the good and the bad and what aligned with my goals and my dreams. And when I was able to do that, I had a roadmap and I followed it and I worked my nuts off. And I think, now I can truly say in the last year I've been able to, and I've worked on this for a very, very long time, and it's caring what other people think about you. Because everybody says, I don't care what they think. Fuck them. I don't care about I do me, but 99% of people who say that, they don't do them. They do stuff for other people. The reason they do something, their actions are to spark a reaction, or to get likes, or to do this, or to do that. Don't give a fuck what other people think. And it's so easy to say. And it takes years and years of programming your mind to turning that off. And I don't mean you need close people around you that you take their opinions and advice and consider it. But other people who are just sitting in the stands and watching you play on the field, and they're shouting and hollering and screaming at you, fuck them. And I can truly say that I have let go of that. I do not care what anybody thinks anymore. It's taken me a long time to get. It's taken me 34 years to get there, and I got there. And the freedom you feel when you have that, the freedom is unbelievable. It's like 1,000 pounds has been lifted off your shoulders. And to this day, I get it all the time. People say, oh, why is he doing this podcast? He's just a meat cutter. He owns a meat shop. Like, they don't know any of the other stuff I'm doing. And that's fine because I don't care. But constantly you get that. Why is he doing social media? What's he doing on there? Because it's different and it's out of the normal. And people aren't used to that. If you don't do what everybody else does, then you're weird. And trust me, I'd rather be weird than do the same fucking thing that a million other people do. And that's me. And that's not for everybody. Some people just want to do, what everybody else does, and that's what they want to do. And that's fine. I'm not saying that that's bad. But I'm saying that's not for me. That is not for me. And if people have an opinion on that, congratulations. Because I don't even hear it. So continue on with your, opinions and throwing stones, but positivity and motivation and lifting people up when they need it, that makes you feel a lot better than telling someone they suck and they're a piece of shit. And if people around me aren't surrounded with positivity and wanting to make people better and help and love, if people around me aren't about that, then get the fuck out of my circle. I got no time for you. Anyways, guys, I appreciate this. I appreciate you listening. It means a lot to me. Questions, concerns, comments, anything you want to hear me talk about, let me know. All the best.